This is me again, and this video has to do with sacrilege, what it means, where it started, and why it still exists. So, the term sacrilege, means sacred or sacred religion or scarred religion or scared religion. It pretty much means people who were forced to believe in a certain religion who didn't have a choice. And if they chose not to, they'd either be scarred into it or scared into it. Meaning they're taught that if they don't believe in the religion, they're going to get punished by God or they're going to get sent to hell for eternity. And that if they didn't go to heaven, if they didn't join Christianity, they're going straight to hell and get tortured forever. There's an angry, wrathful judgment of God waiting to smite them and strike them down and, put his wrathful judgment on them. And just so you understand, Christianity, as most know, came from slavery. The Bible came out of slavery, but I'm pretty sure the Bible existed way before slavery even came around. But slave masters used that Bible on slaves and told them, I'm your master, you're supposed to honor me like I'm your father. You honor me like you honor God. I take care of you, I clothe you, I feed you, I put a roof over your head. So therefore, I'm your master and you do as I say or God will strike you down and stuff like that. And the slaves didn't know better, so they just followed it. And then after so long, slaves were made to go to church because the white man said that that's where you had to go to please him and God. And you got these deaconesses and these trustees, and just so you know, that's some Masonic stuff. The white glove is a sign of purity, and why they have, you got deacons and trustees and all this stuff is the ones who wear the white gloves. That was the white man's way of saying when you pass around this tray and take the money, you wear these white gloves because we don't want your dirty, filthy nigger hands touching our money because we don't trust you. And they usually have the deacons or the ones who collect the money putting one hand behind their back. They didn't trust that having black people collecting money was safe because they thought that we'd steal it. They had the white glove because they didn't want nigger hands touching their money because they thought nigger hands would contaminate the money and cause it to become worthless. They had niggas put their hands on one hand behind their back to collect the money because they didn't want niggas stealing it. But vice versa, then that whole if you don't honor Jesus or the slave master thing, you're going to go to hell or God's going to punish you thing. He's a wrathful, angry God up in heaven waiting to punish you and judge you for your sins. That kept going for so long that the older generation of people that came out of slavery were still going to church, kept hearing that. No one corrected it because people were too scared. They were told not to question God because he's angry and wrathful. You question him, you're going to hell, you're going to get punished. Which is weird because if he already knew you were going to punish him, yeah, you'd already be in hell, but you get my point. And if you don't, I'm just saying that stuff's not true. Anyway, so down through time, a lot of these old school people grew up in sacrilegious homes. Again, sacrilegious means scarred or scared into believing it. And the old heads kept telling them, if you don't go to church, you're going to go to hell. You don't go to church, you're going to burn up in hell. You're going to burn up for all eternity. God's always watching you. He sees everything you do. You sin one time, he's going to punish you. You mess up one time, you're going straight to hell. You're not getting in heaven. God doesn't have mercy for sinners because he hates sin. All that stuff. And then they threw a Bible at you, said, read this, pray, go to every church meeting, join the choir, join the mime, all that stuff. Do every church event, because if you don't, God's always watching you, and he's going to be angry if you don't. He's going to send you to hell if you don't. So down through time, that whole sacrilegious belief of not doing God's will or you're going to go to hell kept sticking and sticking for so long. And then when people questioned it, the old heads got mad and said, don't question God. Don't you ever question God. You are God's servant. You don't question him. You want to question God, you can get out of my house. You don't want to do God's will, you can get out of my house. I'm not feeding you. I'm taking you off my will. I'm not paying for your life no more. Or for like the better words, I'll whoop you, or I'll hit you, or yell at you, or smack you, or something like that. You better do God's will, or you're gonna go to hell. He's not playing. He only has you down here for a certain amount of time. If you don't want to do his will, he's gonna send you to hell. You don't want to go to church and praise his name until you pass away, you're gonna go to hell. He's a jealous God. He don't want you putting all the gods before him. If you do that, you're going to hell. You have sex one time outside of marriage, you're going to hell. You do anything sinful, you're going straight to hell. There's no, God don't want to hear it. There's no question. He don't give a damn. You're going straight to hell. But then you got these sacrilegious bishops and pastors who grew up in sacrilegious houses, and all they ever heard was hell, 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 hell. The old heads would tell them, like, if you don't do this or do that, you're going to go to hell. If you don't become a bishop or a pastor, you're going to go to hell. And for like the longest time, they spun believing that, so you already know. Oh, my damn leg. But yeah, then these religious leaders been taught for so long, if you don't do this, that, or the other, you're going to get punished, you're going to go to hell. And like, grandmas and granddads told them, you're going to be a pastor. I see you being a pastor. You better be a pastor. God's calling you to be a pastor. You know, if you don't do God's work, he's watching you. He's going to be angry at you. He's going to strike you. He's going to smite you. You're going to go to hell forever if you don't be a pastor. What if I don't want to be a pastor? You're not going to say what you do. You don't have a choice. You're not going to embarrass me in front of the church or God. If you don't become a pastor, I'm not feeding you. I'm not clothing you. You can get out of my house. I'm not going to hell because of you. You don't want to do God's work. You get out of my house. And then it became a bishop or a pastor being ignorant to who God really is, standing in that pulpit preaching everyone's going to hell if you don't do what God tells you, because they don't know who he is, or the people that they live with don't even know who he is. Every generation done got scared into believing God's something that he's not, because people don't like to let stuff go or forgive stuff. Plus, people like to look good in front of the church, so they scare you into doing things using God as a segue to get it done. And God's like, first of all, I don't force people to do nothing. I love my creation. I'm not sending no one to hell. Y'all only say I have to get people to do stuff because y'all know they don't respect y'all enough alone to do it. So you use my image and the fear of it to cause people to do what you want them to do. All that bull crap right there. So that's why you got people going to church like 80, 90, people who are pastors, people in the choir, people miming in the sound room, giving tithes. And by the way, tithes don't mean money, it means time. Biblically, if you research the word tithe, it means 10% of your time, not money. I think it's a Roman or Greek word for tios, time, clock. God wants 10% of your time, not your money. Just to get that out of the way. So that's all I got to say about that one. I'm out.